Okay. So I just got home, and I said that when I got home, I was going to go live on this topic about the post I made earlier. And so anybody who wants to jump in can. This ain't going to be long. I just want to speak my piece on that because we all need to learn how to communicate so that it won't be so much frustration and tension when we're online with each other and when people make posts. And before we know even how to communicate, okay, we all need to learn how to reflect. Okay, so understanding what your triggers are and what you take personal. And that's why I put it in the title. If you don't take something personal, you don't have to take it to your person if it's not something that's meant for you. And so just like everybody has heard, if only a hit dog holler. Okay, and so we have to learn how to not respond to things that don't apply to us, because even when you think you're just speaking for the whole, you look like it's coming from you. And a lot of us don't realize sometimes how unhealed we sound, or what our energy sounds like in a lot of different situations. So I had made a post earlier, and the post was not off of my life experience. It wasn't off of my experience with men. It wasn't from a place of malice or bitterness or anything. It was simply an observation. When I got on Facebook this rising, I saw like 8 to 9 different posts from men speaking very negatively and very passive aggressively about women. And so I made a post saying, hey, it seems like some of y'all men hate women from the stuff that y'all say and these subliminal messages that y'all make. And it is true. And it wasn't, I want to get clear really fast before I even get into that. Okay, because I had to respond to some things that some people said. First of all, it's a level of maturity that you have to have when somebody makes a comment or a statement about your sex, your race, anything, to know whether it applies to you or not. And then there has to be a level of honesty to whether the statement is even true. And I think that goes back to people's triggers. Sometimes you don't realize how unhealed you are in something until it triggers you. And we don't realize how beautiful of a thing that is to even realize something that bothers you and on a personal level. So that's why I say we have to reflect first before we can even communicate and have a conversation with other people. You have to understand why certain things affect you a certain way and why it impacts you a certain way or causes you to get defensive or anything like that. And a lot of people don't think like that. A lot of people respond to things impulsively. And that's why I say you don't realize how your energy comes off, okay, and how you can come off sounding or however unhealed in the situation. And so that post kind of set off a few people, specifically men. And the crazy thing is, I know it wouldn't have set them off or any type of way had that statement been about a woman or been about women. And so a lot of people play the men too, women too game. And a lot of people tend to say not all men or not me. There, like I say, there's a level of maturity that doesn't need to be said. And so, and your response when you do, how do you respond to things says a whole lot about who you are and where you are on your journey. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. And so I was like, I wanted to go live because for one, I'm not big on making a whole lot of, like doing a whole lot of text or typing or however. And I knew that was going to just go on and on and on had I kept on commenting back to certain people. I'm sorry, my phone was ringing. And so this is not going to be long at all, but I just wanted to be clear, and I definitely welcome anybody who wanted to jump on that. But you don't realize sometimes how we sound when we respond to things. So like I said, you don't have to do a men to women too. If you a healed person, if you a decent person, if you know that it's some things that have bothered you and you made some corrections in your life, somebody can make a statement about your sex. I've seen the posts all the time where men say things about women, and I know it doesn't apply to me, and I'm honest with myself enough to know that it was true, whether about somebody I know or about myself at some point in my life where, hey, they're not lying. It might sting a little bit because it's true. It doesn't sting to people who it doesn't apply to. And so we really got to understand that. And so when people try to big dog somebody and come on somebody's post and trying to check somebody and all of that, you're not doing anything. you're really just telling on yourself, and you're really just saying that this is an area that I'm not healed in, and this is an area I need to work on. And so my way of defending my own behavior is to lash out at somebody or come on somebody's post or whatever. And a lot of us don't even know how to stick to the subject if you are going to have a conversation with somebody about something. Because somebody came on my post completely trying to change the subject and went into this whole, I don't know what it takes to be a man or whatever he said. And I'm like, that ain't even had nothing to do with it. And so the thing is, when we don't have a response to something, a lot of us like to divert and like to change the subject and like to take something somewhere else. And because I'm a very grounded person, and I'm a level thinker, and I'm emotionally intelligent, I don't get emotional and I don't get upset too quickly over things. So you got to sit back and observe even the people who responded. It wasn't just women who liked that post. Men liked it too, and that doesn't mean that they don't think highly of other men. They just know it's a true statement. Okay, a lot of men do, and a lot of men try to hide it. And when I say passive aggressive, because nobody wants to be the bad guy. And so you have a lot of men who still try to use their words and be very suave and very swift about their disrespect. Okay, and that's why I say don't undermine anybody, especially a woman's ability to read energy. And so a lot of people do that, and then when you call them out on it, a lot of men want to get mad. You're not good at that, so don't do it. Just go ahead and be what men do and just be blunt and just say what you're going to say. Because men, it's bad enough even when women try to do that. But it's even worse when a man tries to do it. Because y'all don't even do it right. Y'all still end up getting mad and in y'all's emotions. And I want to get into that about emotions. Everybody is emotional. And so that's the thing too, because I saw a lot of emotions from men on that post. Everybody experiences emotions. Everybody is emotional. And a lot of people tend to put that on women and say that women are emotional. No, men are emotional, because anger is still an emotion, and impatience is still, all of that is still an emotion, and men express that a lot. Frustration, all of that. And so come on, don't manipulate yourself out of your bliss, because some of us can be so narcissistic that we're manipulating ourselves and gaslighting ourselves out of our own healing. Okay, because we'll defend ourselves, protect ourselves, and project things onto other people when it's just the area. It's nothing wrong with saying, hey, there was a post that bothered me, that got under my skin a little bit, and then figuring out why that bothered you. But to lash out at somebody and to try to jump out at somebody on a personal level because something got under your skin, you just telling on yourself. And so, for one, I know that a lot of people don't know me personally, so you don't know my tone when I'm talking through posts, when I'm commenting. A lot of people don't know my tone, but so you don't know if I'm snake necking you, or if I'm actually being rude to you, or if I'm being just kind of grounded in what I'm saying, which a lot of times I am, because I'm a lot of times being just very objective and not emotional in a situation. And so, for one, I don't make any negative posts about men or women. I always just say things we all need to work on. So that's not even my MO. That's not even how I move. But for two, if I do make a comment or a statement about either sex, that's not for anybody to, for one, try to attack me. But for two, even like I say, take it personal. It's just, if it gets under your skin, that's how I learn. That's how I learn myself. That's how I learn my boundaries. I learn a lot of things through my discomfort, okay, and through what other people say and things that offend me. I learn a lot about myself in that area because I have to figure out why it offended me. And so I'm not telling anybody how to grow. However, I'm just going to tell you what nourished my spirit, okay? We don't have to get so emotional all the time, and that's why I say I think it's really funny that we blame that on women a lot about being emotional or not having logic to a situation, when a lot of times that is men actually, okay? And so that's why I say that impulsiveness and all that is masculine energy. Now, we all possess that, but men act on it more, okay? And a lot of times I see that happening. And yes, that women do that in their masculine energy as well. But I'm just talking about this post in particular. But for all of us on any post, when somebody is making a post and a general statement about men or women, It either applies or it doesn't. But a lot of times you can't disagree with whether the statement is true. And I've seen a lot of men make statements that even if it bothered me a little bit, or even if I felt like it was unnecessary, I couldn't deny the fact of it. And that's why I say when we move off of logic, you can't deny fact, and you won't get mad about different things, especially just here on the internet in general. So not even just about my post. I think we all need to learn just really how to be more emotionally grounded, so that we don't get so easily moved by things. And so a lot of us don't really have a real square in the first place, which is why we're easily moved, because you was never really solid in the first place. A lot of us don't and haven't experienced real peace in the first place, and so don't really have it. And that's another reason why I think a lot of us are easily just get worked up and get so upset about things, because you wasn't never really happy anyway, because real peace cannot be disturbed so easy, so fast. And so that goes back to whether you're healed or not. Certain little things and posts and things that people say on the internet especially should not make anybody be having a breakdown through no post. You get what I mean? And so if you're doing that, that says a lot about you. And that's what I'm saying. Let's not be ashamed of our triggers, because that's the issue at hand. We are ashamed of our triggers even when somebody says, oh, you must be triggered by that. We are so quick to protect ourselves and be like, nah, no, I'm not. It's like somebody called you ugly or something. A trigger is a trigger is a trigger is a trigger. If something gets under your skin, make peace with it. Don't get mad at the person. Don't get mad at who said it, whether they said it in ignorance or in intent. The point is, you learn something about you, and let's work on that and make peace with that, so that you're not moved by it anymore. Men and women, I'm saying right now. That wasn't even a man-woman post. It wasn't even a man-bashing post. That was simply an observation post, and it's a true statement that a lot of men, and yes, and women, if whoever needs to hear that, and that's why I say anybody who even needs to hear somebody say men and women, women and men, like, that's a whole nother conflict within yourself, where that's what I'm saying, where somebody gotta get their whooping when you getting your whooping. Somebody saying something about women, they gotta say men too. Like, that's a whole nother issue within yourself, that you can't just take in some advice or take in something, or even a slight criticism, however, about you, the type of woman you are, the type of man you are at the time or whatever. And that's why I say we only jump out and we only shout if somebody done tapped something somewhere. That was a weak spot somewhere. And we have to be honest about that. And so I wanted to, say that we got to think about that. And that's why all these beefs and everybody getting into it in each other comments and stuff like that. Like, I like people to be expressive. I love to hear other people's point of view. You're not going to be a burden on my mind or my spirit from my post. You won't. Okay? And so I do want to, like I say, let people hear my voice sometimes, because I know that my tone, I'm kind of a matter-of-fact type of person. So when I'm saying stuff through posts, I'm just speaking on facts. I don't have anything to do with your emotions or like how people feel. Like, I'm not your doctor. That's not my job. I just be speaking on things that's happening, and I just speak on what's on the post or whatever at hand. I don't go outside of that subject matter. And a lot of people go off the subject. That's how I know how far off the boat somebody is, how off subject they go off of a situation or a conversation. But all is well. I just wanted to say that no, this is not about astrology. If anything, I mean, it is what a Pisces moon. Everybody's looking for the truth. I guess everybody is moved through, their intuition on things, but fact over fiction every time is what's going to keep you aligned. And I would say I always say keep your magic, but also know the facts as well. That keeps you aligned. But you don't want to be unbalanced with being too much into I don't want people to get too much in their emotions, because it takes away from it messes up your lens. I would say that it clouds your lens. It makes it a little foggy about what's really happening at hand. And so, get out of your emotions, especially on Facebook. And like I say, that post was really a post, like I said, out of observation. It's not a threat. It wasn't to take away from anybody. And a couple of brothers came on that post like really in their feelings, and it didn't have to be like that. And it wasn't an attack on you. And if that's, and that's why I'm like, apparently that's something that they do. And apparently they thought I was talking about them. So there must be something you have on your page. You must, make those kind of posts. But we can easily say women too. Yeah, women too. Yeah, women do that too. I'm not a woman. I'm not a man. So a lot of times when I make a post, it's going to be about a man. I'm a woman. And so that's why I'm like, it's not an attack on men. I'm only going to give my point of view. I don't date women. And so the same thing with men, which I understand when they make a post, when they even saying something about, I don't know, women not being shit or whatever. I can only imagine he's talking about from his point of view. He hasn't dated me. He ain't talking about me. And there are some women that's not shit. Like, it goes both ways. But, of course, if he dates women, he's only going to say that about women. He's not going to make a whole post about men. And so you just have to understand who made the post and their gender and all of that. Sometimes it's not saying that the other sex doesn't do it. A person is making an observation or making a post based off of their experience. And that's why I'm like, when you take it to your person like that, I think I'm not going to call you crazy. We need help. We need help. We need help as a people. And that's why I say I really think speech and debate should be a thing. I think everybody should learn speech and debate because it teaches everybody how to talk. It teaches everybody how to stay on subject, and it gets everybody out of their emotions, and it makes you really bring facts to the forefront. And I know a lot of us have been to court before, and that's really all that is. You talk like you in court. You stick to the facts, you stick to the subject, and nothing outside of that. Because everything else outside of that is your opinion. And so once you do that, you don't get mad and you don't get moved, and everything is simply information. But I think that's something that I think everybody should have to take, like a speech and debate or something like that, just to learn how to move from a point, learn from a point, and stand strong and firm on your point, but also learn as well. But we got to get out of our emotions when we watching people's lives and when we looking at people's posts. Like, it's not about you. You get what I mean? Unless you know that person and it's about you. And so, that's why I say you telling your business, you telling yourself. And it keeps me at a grounded position just to watch and observe a situation when I know I'm not talking about you. And and when people have to come out of nowhere and be talking about their experience and things they've been through, and women too and all of that, like, you saying a lot. And so that's why I say take it in first. Reflect it in first. Take it in first about why you feel in a certain way about something and why something is affecting you a certain way before you take it out. All right, it's you first. You are your first audience when you speak. You are your first audience when you think. You are your first audience when you threaten somebody, when you even compliment somebody, love on somebody. It's you first. And so you got to think about the energy you giving off, because we only give what we have. And so that's why a lot of people, it's just like, it's easy for me to be calm in a situation, because people don't realize they only giving away what they have. You got love, peace, harmony within you. That's why that's what you're giving. But when there's a lot of turmoil, a lot of pain, a lot of turbulence, a lot of things that are unhealed inside of you, that's why you give it. So that's what I'm saying, sarcastic comments and all of those things. You say a lot about yourself. And so by all means, don't drop your gun. Don't drop your gun in a situation. You drop your gun and now you're more vulnerable, I think, sometimes, the more emotional people are in conversation. So just pay attention to that, y'all. All is well. But I just said I wanted to be more vocal because I wasn't going to go all day back and forth on that post. So from this point on, refer to this live. Get out of our emotions, like I said, and just know what to learn. And no, not everybody is talking about you, And if you feel like they're talking about you, that says a lot about you. And so that's what I'm saying. Take it in for a minute. Why do I feel like this? Why did that bother me? I've had to do that sometimes. And that's another reason why I make posts. And, I don't do a whole lot of commenting on other people's posts. I make my own posts just so I don't cause conflict or disrespect or do anything and step on somebody else's feet on their page. And I'm not saying anybody can't come on my page, but we're not going to do the disrespect. And we're not going to confuse the subject, and we're not going to, divert. We're not going to do that. And it was a couple of manipulators on that post today. And so I had the time just for a second just now, and I said, I'm going to make me a live real quick. I'm going to say what I need to say. And I hopefully was on long enough for anybody else who needed to jump on, who wanted to say something. But Peace and love, everybody. Peace and love, Nadia. Peace and love, Monique. Peace and love, Skip. Peace and love, everybody. This was the shortest live ever that I've probably ever done. And but I will definitely be getting with you guys later. And like I said, anybody refer back to this video if you have any other issues about that post. Peace and love, y'all, and have a good day.